When people think of a truly memorable or masterful scene in anime, a casual enjoyer may say it was Whitebeard's death from One Piece, or Captain Erwin's battle speech from Attack on Titan. Perhaps someone slightly more veteran might cite Code Geass's ending, which I think was amazing. However, to me, there is nothing more memorable in anime than the subtle beauty and immense layers presented in the intro scene of Clannad. In only 2 minutes, Clannad manages to tell us so much about its story, themes, and characters. So much so that its viewers often miss out on these details. This video is going to take a closer look at Jun Maeda's and Kyoto Animation's masterpiece. In the first few seconds, the camera pans from the sky down to the cityscape in an aerial shot, immediately establishing both the setting and the show's major metaphor, the town. The composition is almost entirely monochrome, it lacks color and it lacks soul. Fittingly, the track that plays during the scene is called Town, Flow of Time, People. It's harrowing, it's enchanting, and yes, its title is thematically significant. To match this soulless atmosphere, the very first line uttered in the series is Tomoya saying, "I hate the city." Why does he hate the city? In Clannad, the city is presented as both an organic being and a symbol of life itself. So when Tomoya says he hates the city, what he's really saying is that he hates life. The shot flashes before another aerial view pans down from the sky to a power line. If you've watched enough anime, you already know power lines are a common and very deliberate symbol, seen in shows like Lane, Steins Gate, and Evangelion. They pervade every corner of Japanese cities and are often used to symbolize the connections between people, the omnipresent nature of technology, and sometimes just the oppressive mundanity of everyday life. In this case, it's the latter, as well as symbolizing the change in the town itself. Tomoya then explains his hatred of the city. It's full of memories he wants to forget, and it's ridden of a monotonous, soulless everyday routine. To him, it's a boring life in a town he sees as cursed. There's nothing happy here, nothing good. Something needs to change. As we see moving shots of the city, we're shown a clock. It ticks slowly, exactly once. We get a low angle shot of Tomoya here. His face is completely shadowed, his eyes half shut, and the drains of color. He looks introspective, almost depressed. There's a very stark contrast between his empty expression and the sky above him, where the sun looks like a glowing orb of light. This is both a symbolic contrast between his self and the lights, and also self-foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the future, where we see orbs of light. Next, we see Tomoya standing on the foot of the hill. He shrugs, and then he begins walking upward with a slouched posture. The music fades for a few seconds, while he quietly trudges uphill. Then, the shot abruptly cuts to an unfamiliar girl, her eyes cropped out of the frame. She sighs. And then a certain theme, my favorite theme in the entire series, breaks the silence. It's simply called Nagisa. I'll let you interpret what it means, but to me it encapsulates life. Tomoya approaches her in a low angle shot and glances over with one eye. Now we finally see her face, Nagisa's face. She closes her eyes and prepares herself and softly says, "Papa." For those who don't know, Nagisa says the name of whatever food she wants to eat out loud as a small goal to give her motivation to get through the day. She's very weak, both physically and mentally, and this tiny ritual is what allows her to survive the day. Nagisa then gives her short speech, and it completely contrasts Tomoya's entire worldview. In a meek voice, she says that she really loves the school, but nothing can stay unchanged. The things in life that give you joy and happiness can't possibly stay forever. As she says this, we see her clench her bag, almost as if she's reflecting her own experiences on the things that she loved that time has already taken away from her, like her friends who already graduated while she was forced to repeat the year. Tomoya comments that Nagisa isn't actually speaking to him, but rather to herself, yet her words seem to cut deep. While Tomoya hates this town and wishes for something, anything to change, Nagisa loves this place but is terrified of the very same change. The flow of time can take away happy things. Nagisa directly asks Tomoya whether he could still love this place if life were to take those happy things away. Now, if you've read or seen Afterstory, this is heavy foreshadowing of what's to come. This is essentially the core thematic question of Clannad that's proposed. At this moment, something visually changes. As theme B of Nagisa's theme begins to play, color slowly flashes into the scene. The gray world gradually fades until the screen is fully vibrant when Tomoya answers. This gray world is the world that Tomoya sees. It doesn't have any color, but it is Nagisa who brings the color back into his life. Without saying it outright, Clannad establishes Nagisa's role in the story better than any dialogue ever could. Nagisa looks stunned as a dynamic camera flies between her and Tomoya in a bright cinematic shot, the complete opposite of what we saw earlier. Her face looks inspired, more confident. When Tomoya invites her to walk up the hill with him, she follows right behind, framed between isolated white shots where you can clearly read her expressions. I absolutely love this detail, and I think it's one of the hallmarks of Kyoto Animation's animating this first scene. Now, we cut to the final symbolic sequence of this intro scene. It's a very beautiful shot. They climb this long uphill path together, and it's very hard not to read the hill as a metaphor for life's challenges. It's slow, and it's tiring. But Tomoya inspires Nagisa to keep going. He gives her a small push up the hill, and together, they give each other a reason to climb this hill, to climb life's challenges. You see, on the surface, this seems like a simple moment of encouragement, but Clannad and Jun Maeda don't present imagery that simply. Beneath this quiet exchange is something much larger, something that the series will continue to return to again and again. The idea that the town itself remembers, that time leaves scars not just on the people, but the world around them. In Clannad, memory and time aren't just abstract ideas, but they shape reality itself. From the very first track title, Town, Flow of Time, People, we are told explicitly that these things are inseparable. Time flows through people, and people leave traces behind in this town. That's why Tomoya says the city is full of memories he wants to forget. Those memories aren't just internal, they're embedded in the very streets, the hills, the power lines that he walks through every day. Every location carries some emotional residue. This idea becomes even more clear when we consider how often Clannad visits these same physical locations throughout the series. The hill, the schoolyard, the streets at dusk, these places change a lot, and so does their meaning. The opening scene establishes this immediately. We see a town before we know its story, but Tomoya already knows this town. The monochrome palette is in another aspect, just his emotional exhaustion. This is a world that has already taken something away from Tomoya. However, Nagisa interacts with this memory differently. She doesn't reject the town for what it's taken, she rather clings onto it for what it once gave her, these happy memories. Her fear is quite the opposite of Tomoya, and there's a clear contrast between these two characters and their struggles. This is why the hill matters so much. By placing this imagery at the very beginning, Clannad subtly suggests that life isn't just about avoiding pain, nor is it simply about who walks beside you, it's rather discovering what makes the climb worth enduring in the first place. This ties directly into Jun Maeda's broader philosophy. Happiness doesn't last, change is inevitable. But Clannad doesn't argue that this makes life tragic or meaningless, it rather argues the opposite. The joy matters precisely because it happens. Pain doesn't erase what came before it, it proves that it was actually worth it. By doing good things, we can also create this concept of artificial luck, where good things happen and where dreams come true. And yeah, that was a lot of analysis for just a 2-minute scene, and honestly there's still more I could talk about. But this is as much as I'm willing to fit inside one video. These symbols and themes are constantly revisited throughout the series and are developed. This very opening scene is echoed multiple times, especially in Afterstory, where Tomoya finally answers Nagisa's question, can he still love this place? The answer lies in the root of clan in the word Clannad itself, family. It doesn't have to be by blood, but by the bonds by which you consider family are the reason why we climb up this hill. This answer and Nagisa's final monologue is a video for another day. If even one person notices the beauty inside this first scene, then this wasn't a waste of time. Clannad plus Clannad Afterstory truly is a masterpiece and one of the few anime that I can truly respect from the bottom of my heart. And I hope more people notice the beauty hidden in this first scene and the beauty hidden throughout the series, because this writing is superb.